this system. And you know certainly that the new version, SAP HANA, is able to do data mining. So it's not anymore a transactional system, a classical transactional system, but it's capable to create knowledge and reuse knowledge inside. So there is a very powerful tool now, but the point is how to use it again. And in order to show you an example, of course you cannot read that, but we have tested it on the maintenance. And I have asked 10 companies with whom we had some students in the training periods, whether they would like to make some tests on data mining using their database, maintenance database. And on the 10 companies, 8 accepted and sent me the files. So it's very impressive. They feel that they have information somewhere, knowledge somewhere, but they cannot know how to use it. So I've gathered some Excel files, huge Excel files with 700s of thousands of experiences, and then we use data mining algorithms, and very simple ones are able to generate rules. So for instance, you can see it, but the rules are able to show that, okay, with this symptom and this diagnosis should allow you to repair this kind of problem, for instance. And we are now in the second step. The second step is the interpretation of the rules. Now it's very easy to build knowledge, but validate knowledge and identify what is interesting and what is of no interest, it's much more difficult. So again, the technologies are here and we have to learn how to use them. So, I think the problems are here. Okay, we know that there is some knowledge buried in the databases, in the industrial databases. We are able to extract this knowledge. We are not fully able to validate this knowledge, but it will be, I think it will be done in some years. But then, how can we improve our systems, our planning systems, for instance, using this knowledge? Most often, when you look at MRP, for instance, it's an algorithm. What can you do with knowledge in order to improve MRP, for instance? This is a problem which is not very easy to solve. So, in that purpose, we have submitted a project with a company, a software editor called iFact. And this project is called the Predictive ERP. And the idea is to embed data mining in planning systems in order to be able to build a predictive ERP able to adapt its strategy of planning to the situation in which it happens. So this project has been submitted for funding in France, even if iFact is also a German company, and we are waiting for the acceptance or reject these days. So this is an example, and something very interesting here is that we try to do this system for SMEs. That means that the data mining things are really cheap ones because we think that it's more important for SMEs to be able to enter in these technologies than for large companies. Because Airbus do not need us for doing that. But the small companies need us. And in the supply chain, you need that all the partners are able to make good planning. Otherwise, the result will not be very efficient. So it's not very interesting. If Airbus is very good in planning the final assembly line, yes, but if the parts don't come at the right moment, it's not useful. So this is very important. I will not detail the human aspects because we don't have time, and it's not because it's not important, but I prefer to focus on that. Some of the problems are on competence management, for instance. I'm working on competence management for 10 years. I thought that it was a very well-known problem, and in the Cluster Aerospace Valley, they want now to organize a new workshop. They say that it's not solved, and because there are more and more new technologies, the competence have to be adapted more and more quickly. So it's complicated, and it's not very easy. Something also of interest is that when we look at the information systems, like the ERP, for instance, they are very centralized systems, and And many people say that they cut the social links in the companies. And in order to react to this, many editors have had the idea to take tools from outside, from the public domain, and to put them in the industrial systems. And it's the case, for instance, for social networks. There is a very intensive research now on how to embed social networks in industrial information systems. And if you look at what is possible, Oracle ERP, for instance, the new version has a social network inside. And if you look at SAP Business by Design, I don't know if you know this one, it's not a very large ERP, as you know, it's a small size ERP for large SMEs, I would say. In by design, you can have wiki, you can create knowledge, you can discuss together, you can create communities, you can have a social network. And the problem is that they sell their system with these tools, but they don't know how to use it. So the consultants are supposed to find good ways to use these very interesting tools. But again, the tools are existing before there is a need for the customer. So now we have to be with the customers in order to be able to help them for implementing these techniques. Okay. I put in the human aspects augmented reality. So I suppose that everybody make a clear difference between virtual reality, where you are inserted in a virtual world, and augmented reality. And here you want to add some information on what you see. And of course, we have had some interesting experiments on connected glasses. And these ones are interesting for us because they are very cheap. And we would like to see what is possible with cheap glasses, cheap applications for SMEs. Because, of course, Airbus is doing very large applications on that. We have seen demonstrations on quality management, for instance, very impressive, but they cost hundreds of thousands of euros. And we have bought these glasses. They cost $700, for instance. And we have given them to students. And we say, okay, try to find a smart way to use them in a workshop. And they were very happy because it's a very creative work. So they try to look at there is a market, like the Android market or the App Store on these glasses. They get free applications and they try to do something, connect on the information system, visualize the steps of business process, help the maintenance managers, create communication with external experts. So we begin to accumulate some nice experiences, and we are trying to see with SMEs if they will to test these systems, not for large companies, but again for small ones. I suppose that you have already seen videos on augmented reality, so perhaps I will skip this one, or I can only show you. So here it's in a warehouse, and you can see what the people see. So mainly it's used for avoiding errors. You can scan the parcels without getting a device in your hands and so on. So I think you already saw that, so I prefer to let some time for what we have now. So, cobots are very interesting, and again, the person from Bosch spoke about cobots. I know. So this is, on the left side, it's a cobot working with a person. And for us, researchers, it sets very interesting problems, even if we are not researchers in robotics. Because how will we share the task between the cobot and the person? What will be led to the person and what will be done by the cobot? It depends on their abilities, it depends on the cobot, it depends on what the person wants to do, it depends on the acceptability, on the social acceptability of the persons to work with the cobots. So we are also working on persons on human aspects, human science, because it's not possible to say to a person, okay, last year you were working with 2 persons and now you are working with a robot. It's not possible to ask the people to accept it like that, so we have to explain what will happen to the other workers and so on. So, the question, and I'm not so optimistic than the person yesterday, what kind of automation and what kind of product, but what kind of automation is, what will we do with persons? Are we sure that we shall have as many persons as yesterday? Because if it's only a question of transfer, the persons who are here and they will come to a place where their added value will be increased, yes, it's very nice, but I'm not sure that it's the case because cobots are expensive and you have to earn money with cobots. And for most companies, it's not possible to increase the production level. So for increasing the benefits, you have to decrease the resources invested. So there are very important questions here. I like drones because I don't understand anything on that. You have also seen things, videos by Amazon, for instance, but it's not very efficient. At the moment, there are very interesting applications in Airbus and Dassault for inspection, because an aircraft is a very huge system, and you spend a lot of time with nacelles and so on to check the aircraft when there is a problem. And with drones, it's very easy to go around and to analyze the image. So there are applications, again, for large companies, but what will be done for transportation, for instance? It will be a major problem in the next few years. Okay, I think I will not speak about Green Factory because I would like to keep. Do I have 5 minutes? Yes. So I will not speak about this, but it's also important. I'm very sorry. And some of the problems are, for instance, again on scheduling. I was in the past working on scheduling, and now some new scheduling problems are, what about energy profile, energy consumption? Because the companies can have very interesting contracts with the energy providers when they respect some limits. So now, starting a machine or stopping a machine is also a way to stay in the limits of consumption that have been approved by the energy provider. So we have to be able to include these constraints in our scheduling algorithms, and it's not so easy. And of course, I will also be very quick on Connected Factory because the person yesterday spoke about it. Cybersecurity is the key here, and when we discuss with Airbus and Dassault, for instance, they have many projects, many ongoing projects that they could implement in their factories, but they are stopped by cybersecurity because they know that their networks can be hacked, and they know what would happen if it's done. So they know how to do it, but they would like to be sure that the security of the data is ensured before launching these projects. So I think, like the person yesterday, that cybersecurity is the key for these things. You have all seen this. Yes, but what to do with it? You will see in the videos that I will show you afterwards that, of course, you can put labels on the parts, and they can discuss together. But discuss to do what? Of course, for traceability, for follow-up, it's okay. But what will be the purpose of the discussion of a machine with a part, for instance? A lot of researchers have done distributed management systems, where the part gets some intelligence and tries to plan itself on the machine. So it's very funny with multi-agent systems and so on, but it's not optimal. It's far from optimality because all the problems are solved at the local level. So how to make a good compromise between optimization, which in my opinion needs centralization, and reactivity in order to be able to adapt the system to disturbances. So keeping this balance is very important and very difficult. And I would like to show you what Airbus thinks about the factory of the future. And There are several ways to look at it. Of course, it's communication. But it's not only communication, because when we discussed with the colleagues from Airbus in the Paul Aerospace Valley, they said that all what is in this movie will be implemented in at least 10 years. So you will see that it's, well, I think it's quite interesting. So the first point is on digital factory, of course. Customization. New interfaces between information system and the employees. AGV. Lead, of course. Then there are some points related to the product, so we are not anymore on industrial management. Autonomous vehicle. IoT, you see that the tool communicates with the part. And you see the small robots here. Robots, augmented reality. that the first time the unions saw this movie, there were less workers, and then the Airbus had to add workers to the movie because the people were saying, okay, the factory is nice, but there is nobody here. So they understood that it was a mistake, and they added people. You have seen people doing nothing. So I think it's not. It's very important to notice that the new factory, the factory of the future, could be again the usine sans hommes of 30 years ago. So it's very important to think about it. I don't think we have time for. We have? Okay, so this is funny because perhaps I should not say that, but 1 year after the video from Airbus, Peugeot created a video, and I think that really they have copied the other. So you will see it and see the differences and also the similarities, and the similarities are really, well, you will see. So this is the view from the automotive sector. I'm sorry, you will improve your French because it's in French. And you will see that it's heavy communication.
Ces dernières décennies, l'évolution de la technologie s'est accélérée. Dans un monde ultra connecté, les consommateurs sont en attente de solutions immédiates et personnalisées. C'est pour satisfaire nos clients et anticiper ces nouveaux besoins que nous avons préparé l'usine du futur. Chaque commande passée déclenche en temps réel l'ordre de fabrication du véhicule. Ces ordres sont programmés. Le client reçoit une notification de la date de livraison prévisionnelle de son véhicule. La commande des pièces est automatiquement envoyée au fournisseur et leur réception est programmée en fonction de la date de livraison prévue. L'acheminement et le stockage des pièces sont entièrement automatisés, parfaitement fluides et flexibles. Découvrons ensemble notre usine du futur. Les espaces de travail sont dégagés. Les tâches lourdes assurées par des robots et les contrôles qualité sont effectués automatiquement puis validés par les opérateurs. À l'atelier ferrage, un contrôle total de la géométrie des pièces est effectué grâce à un pointage laser. Ultra connecté, l'usine du futur se base de papier. Toutes les informations sont stockées.